Yes, guys, welcome to the Gianni team selection video for Game Week 34. The last big double game week, if we like, between now and the end of the season. I think there are 6 teams playing twice. We like that. But look, it's a fast turnaround. And I think when you're getting green arrows, the fast turnaround is really cool. It's like, oh, great, I've got a deadline on a Tuesday, I've got a deadline on a Saturday, back again the following week. When you're on red arrows, the last thing you want is that quick turnaround because it's like, oh, I've got to get into FPL again and got to switch and engage my brain. But I'm hoping loads of you are off the back of a good game week 33, those midweek fixtures. And again, you're well set for double game week 34. There are a few that will be on a free hit for 34, and I don't mind that. Obviously, if you've got your free hit left, go for it. But I was looking at some free hit drafts. I actually made a draft earlier this morning. And that draft was, I mean, it was as you expected. 3 Brighton, they play twice. 3 Liverpool, 3 City, 2 United. That was my 11. And I looked at it and thought, pretty similar to my team. I've got 3 Brighton. I'm going to have 3 Liverpool. I won't have 3 City, but I'll have 2. And I won't have 2 United, but I'll have 1. Pretty well set. So, yeah, I think we'll go into 34 with a ton of optimism. But before we look at my 34 team, let's have a look and see my Game Week 33 team. And I'm recording this on Wednesday. So far, you'll see I'm on a red arrow. But so far, I've not had any of my players play. So I'm on 0 points. I'm actually on -4 points. That's why I've got the red arrow. I think I maybe went into this game week on like 160. So despite having none of my players playing, I've lost 50k from that -4, and obviously some of those Tuesday night performers, Tyrone Mings for example, hit my rank a little bit. I didn't have Ollie Watkins and he blanked. Get in. He's killed my season pretty much, Ollie Watkins. I'd say he's almost single-handedly responsible for me not being at a rank I'm happy with. I guess I'd be at around, I don't know, 50, 60k at the moment if I'd gone Watkins over Havertz. I think it's probably about a 30-point swing. I dread to even look. But he blanked last night. I have Harry Kane, which many have sold this week to accommodate Salah. So I've got Salah, Kane and Haaland this week, and I'm really positive that I'm going to get a green. But look, many of you will be watching this after the Wednesday recording. Maybe you're watching this on Thursday and you're going, oh, well, Haaland blanked and Salah was rubbish and Chilwell got sent off, whatever. But look, I'm not going to dwell on my 33 week too much because I don't want it to be outdated. But just so you know the transfers I've made, I sold Havertz for Greenwood and I sold Bruno for Salah. The Bruno news is difficult. I said on Twitter I will eat my hat if he starts for United on Thursday. I just can't see it. And Greenwood, I've got money in the bank. I didn't have to go all the way down to Greenwood. I think I've got a little bit in the bank. This was more a case of wanting to free up a dead spot. Now, Greenwood sits third on my bench and he can stay there all season. Look ahead at the next few weeks, guys. There's some real benching dilemmas. I've still got some benching dilemmas and I've got a dead spot in my team. I would genuinely consider, if you think funds are going to be tight in the next few moves you'll be making, and as we all try and accommodate Liverpool players, I think funds will become tight. I think a dead spot's really useful. So look, let's see why I went down to Greenwood and why I needed those funds for my plans for 34. So my 33 team, for those listening on pod, I've gotten double Chelsea defence against Brentford, Chilwell and Kepa, Trips and Estupinan. My midfield 5 of Grealish, March, Matoma, Salah and Rashford. Loads of away fixtures in there. Rashford plays Tottenham away, Salah West Ham away and Brighton Forest away. And then Kane and Haaland up top. I benched Botman and I benched Raya. Ake is flagged. Now, what do we know about Ake? Well, firstly, I bought him in a few weeks back and I've had 0 points from him so far because he got injured. Pep said in his press conference on Monday, we just don't know if he'll be back for Real Madrid. We hope so. Something along those lines. Now, the Real Madrid fixtures come after game week 34. Oh, and after game week 35. So the double in 34, I don't think Ake is going to be involved. I think he needs to be a sell for me. He might even miss 35 as well. Really disappointing there. That's effectively a waste of 4 points. But I can convert Ake to Trent. So let's have a look how I am stocked for game week 34. Now, this is a game week I'm really excited about. At the moment, I'll run through my team. and I'll speak through who's on a single and who's on a double. So Raya plays Forest at home in goal, single game week. I've got double Newcastle defence against Southampton at home, single game week. Estupinan on the double completes my back three. And then my midfield five all have doubles: Grealish, March, Matoma, Salah, Rashford. And then it's Kane, single, Liverpool away, and then Haaland with a double. Bench of Chilwell, Ake, Greenwood and Kepa. So I'm going to be taking another 4-point hit. So 4-point hit this week, 4-point hit for game week 34, and that's to get more Liverpool players. I need to see Liverpool play well against West Ham to go for perhaps both of these guys. But one guy I'm definitely bringing in, regardless of what happens against West Ham, unless he gets injured or sent off, is Trent Alexander-Arnold. So Ake to Trent, and to fund that, Kane goes down to, ideally, Jota. So let's see what happens against West Ham. Look, maybe Darwin plays really well and he becomes a thing. But at the moment, it's Jota who I really want to accommodate. So Kane out for Jota gives me an extra double game week player. And then if I sell Ake for Trent, that gives me another double game week player in my 11. Botman would go down to my bench. So my only single game week players for game week 34 should be Trippier, home to Southampton, and Raya, home to Nottingham Forest. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy indeed. I could even consider a goalkeeper transfer like a De Gea, for example. I think I'm okay with my goalkeepers though. I think I'm okay, but I'm not ruling that out. So that's where we are. I think I'm fairly confident. I think, as I mentioned, that free hit team, I think the free hit team won't look dissimilar to what my 11 will become. Obviously, I'm having to take hits to get there. A hit last week, a hit this week. That's in fact 8 points of hits to get something that looks like the free hit team. But I really do expect points. When we look at some of these fixtures, who am I expecting big returns from? Well, let's take the teams that I'm heavily invested in. Brighton, I like the two homes. I think that home fixture against United is really interesting because it won't make up for the defeat in the semi-final, beating United now. Like, getting to an FA Cup final would have been massive for Brighton. But De Zerbi has said, like, every game now is the most important game. And Forest, he described as the biggest game of the season. Like, they are playing for European football next year, which for a club like Brighton, without sounding patronising, is absolutely massive. And I really hope they get there. I'm a massive fan of Brighton, and I'd have loved them to get fourth. I think that's looking more unlikely by the day now, but a fifth or a sixth place finish would be amazing. So I expect returns from those guys, March, Matoma. I do worry Estupinan is going to suffer a benching at some point. Veltman can play left back. If Gross plays right back, could we see Veltman or a Lamptey, when fit, playing one game for Estupinan? But I'm going to take that risk, of course. The other players I'm not too sure about double starts. Salah will get them against Spurs and Fulham at home, and Rashford should get them against Villa and Brighton. The Man City players are interesting because, again, they need to win every game, and I think a lot of this will depend on how they play against Arsenal in the week. If they go and beat Arsenal and the title looks wrapped up, it's too soon to say that, but if they beat Arsenal, that could affect Pep's thinking for those tight turnaround games, Fulham, West Ham, and then I think it's Leeds in game week 35. They play 3 games then in the space of a week, and it's a really short recovery time. So Man City play Arsenal in game week 33 on the Wednesday, and then the game week 34 fixtures that we're looking at, it's Fulham on the Sunday, and then West Ham on the Wednesday, and then it's Leeds the following Saturday. So it's actually 3 Premier League games in 6 days. Now, Haaland and Grealish aren't getting 180. But do they get 2 starts? That's the $1 million question. I think there's a good chance they do, and we might just see a 60-minute cameo or 60 minutes from these guys when the game is comfortable, and if it's not, they get longer. And you expect them to be fairly comfortable against the likes of Fulham and West Ham. You know, if they're 3-0 up at half-time, Haaland could come off, for example. The good news is if these players are coming off early, it means they've probably scored loads of goals, or not the players, but the team. Therefore, Haaland's involved. Therefore, he's still, for me, the best captaincy option. You know, you could look at it and go, March, Matoma, Salah, Rashford, they all have got a good chance of 180 minutes. Should we be captaining these guys? Haaland's probably got a more realistic chance of 120 minutes over the 2 games. Should we be, or 150 maybe, should we be considering elsewhere for the armband? Personally, I'd rather 120 of Haaland than 180 of all those other guys, I think, at the moment. obviously those Real Madrid fixtures come after game week 35. So it could be that Leeds fixture in game week 35 we see bigger rotation for City. But as I said, a lot of it depends on how Arsenal are performing and what that gap is at the top of the league. And that league state really will make a difference. So you know my plans, the -4s on the horizon, going big on Liverpool for obvious reasons. I love their double with 2 homes. I think they'll beat Spurs at home and Fulham at home, and I think the ceiling is high in both those. We just saw them score 3 against Forest at home. They are scoring a lot of goals at home, and I definitely want more than just Salah and Trent. I really want Jota too. So yeah, Harry Kane will be gone, as will Ake, and I'll have 9 out of my 11 on a double game week as a minimum. I could even consider a goalkeeper transfer. Raya obviously doesn't have any doubles now. Kepa does, so I don't really want to sell Kepa because he doubles in game week 37 and has some nice fixtures. He has Bournemouth in 35, Forest in 36. In 37, his double is horrendous, but you could see huge save points and you never know. Do you get a clean sheet in there? It's going away to both Manchester clubs, so it ain't pretty, but with keepers, you just never know. So that's how we're looking, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Look, before you leave though, massively, massively, massively appreciate your support watching these channels, especially when I do them by myself. Many of you are used to seeing me do these with... I used to do them with Andy, as in Let's Talk Andy. I used to do them with Az. I've done them with Seb a bit in recent weeks, but also done them a lot alone. So if you're enjoying them, just let me know in the comments. Also hit that like and subscribe button. And please don't take too much consideration into my big red arrow at the moment this week. As I mentioned, I've had 0 players playing, and I actually think I'm pretty well set. I think if we go back to my team for this current week, I think I'm going to get a small green. Is that wishing too much? I definitely want to be lower than 150 by the time I enter game week 34. And game week 34, as we've just seen, like, I'm pretty well set as well. So I would like to think this time next week, when I come back to you guys, that I'm well lower than 150. Maybe a 130. The dizzy heights. I could even be close to a 5-digit rank under that 100k. I'm just single-handedly blaming Ollie Watkins, as I mentioned. But guys, thank you so much. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next week. May your arrows be green, as always.